This room has like a history of people
This room has good
expressing
vibes,
themselves.
actually.
Yeah, it's got good vibes.
Yeah, it does.
Well,
I love this room, actually.
I subscribe to the idea that places have memory.
Yeah,
I think there's something real to that. That's why
it does feel that way, actually.
Yeah. I'm sure if you go to Diddy's house, it probably feels real weird. Probably feels weird walking around that house. Probably like, what the f happened here?
Yes. It's like J.Lo was like his ex-girlfriend. and it's like now deciding she's like warning people against Trump. I'm like, well, wait a second. So how many people did she warn against Diddy?
Right.
Oh, 0. Okay.
Right.
Well, maybe we shouldn't trust her opinion.
Joe Rogan and Elon Musk just dropped a bombshell that has everyone doing a double take. According to them, Jennifer Lopez is allegedly Diddy's handler. Right after this jaw-dropping claim, J.Lo reportedly fled the country. What is even going on? Is she dodging the heat, or is there more to this story than meets the eye? So, on Joe Rogan's podcast, Elon Musk and Joe didn't hold back when talking about Diddy and his web of scandals. The whole vibe of the conversation was, how has Diddy gotten away with all this for so long? They covered everything from his legal woes to the Hollywood silence surrounding him, and yes, J.Lo got dragged into it too. First off, they touched on Diddy's recent arrest, which includes charges like S-trafficking, racketeering, and prostitution. These are the kind of charges that ruin reputations and end careers. And Elon and Joe didn't just stop there. They took a magnifying glass to those wild freak-off parties Diddy used to host in Los Angeles. You know the ones. A-list celebrities would show up and people whispered about what really went down behind closed doors. Well, they didn't whisper on the podcast. Joe straight up said those parties were basically an open secret in Hollywood, and Elon chimed in saying it's impossible that people didn't know what was happening. Then came the J.Lo moment. Elon was quick to call her out for staying silent about Diddy's alleged behavior when they were dating. He shaded her by saying something like, she's out here warning people about Trump, but how many people did she warn about Diddy? None. 0. And you can't help but think, if someone as connected as J.Lo didn't speak up, who else stayed quiet? People are with Elon on this one. Comments online read stuff like, Elon is right. Why should we listen to J.Lo about anything? And, Joe Lo needs to be held accountable. She knows. And it didn't stop there. Joe and Elon got into how some of Diddy's old party crowd is now tied to political figures like Kamala Harris. They weren't accusing her directly of anything, but they were definitely raising eyebrows about the connections between Hollywood elites, political power, and who's protecting who. Elon took it a step further, suggesting that the music industry itself must have known what was going on. He's tweeted about this before, basically asking how many people in entertainment were complicit by staying silent. It's giving, we see you and we're not buying your excuses. Now, here's where it gets even juicier. Rumors have been swirling that Diddy's legal troubles might involve more celebrities than we think. Some people speculate that Jennifer Lopez still has financial ties to Diddy, even after all these years. Others think her silence could have been about protecting her own image, or maybe she just didn't want to get dragged into the chaos. But here's the kicker. If someone as high profile as J.Lo knew what was going on and didn't say anything, it really makes you wonder how deep this all goes. Joe and Elon didn't come out and say it, but the conversation definitely hinted at a bigger problem in Hollywood. This culture of silence and protection for the rich and powerful. They even joked about how Diddy's influence has allowed him to dodge accountability for so long, but there was an underlying seriousness to it. They were basically saying enough is enough. And honestly, they're not wrong. It's not just about Diddy anymore, it's about the systems in place that let people like him operate unchecked. From the party regulars to the industry insiders to the political connections, this web is messy. And it's unraveling fast. What's even crazier is that more names might come out as the legal cases against Diddy move forward. But now there's even more talk about J.Lo possibly being involved in some shady stuff. Why? Well, remember one of those lawsuits that came out against Diddy the other month that also included 2 celebs? Now we know that one of them was Jay-Z, and the other, it could have been J.Lo as far as we know. Let's get into it because this story is messy with a capital M. If you're J.Lo right now, you might just be out here sweating bullets or leaving the country. Here's the tea. There's speculation that J.Lo might be the unnamed celebrity who allegedly settled with Tony Busby to keep her name out of a lawsuit. But the irony here is that if she really did settle, Jay-Z just went and made her collateral damage, so now her name is right smack in the middle of this whole scandal. The internet is on fire over rumors that J.Lo might be tied to the allegations involving Diddy, Jay-Z, and some seriously disturbing claims. Remember that 13-year-old Jane Doe case? The one where she said Diddy, Jay-Z, and an unnamed female celeb were all involved in some sketchy horror movie type scene? Well, now multiple sources are claiming J.Lo could be that unnamed woman. They're saying there's even footage of her and Diddy arguing the night of the alleged assault. Now let's keep it real. This could be about anyone because Diddy has never been the poster child for faithfulness. That man has been a lot of things, but loyal? Never. But back then, J.Lo and Diddy were practically inseparable. If J.Lo wasn't involved, why hasn't she come forward to clear her name? Her silence is only adding fuel to the fire. And get this, photos from that night have people thinking J.Lo's argument with Diddy is somehow linked to the case. The lawsuit describes an unnamed female celebrity who supposedly stood by and watched. If J.Lo did settle, can you imagine the audacity of Jay-Z dragging her name back into the mix? Because let's be honest, Jay-Z and Beyoncé's reputations are on the line here. If these claims stick, it's a wrap for them. Now, why hasn't Jay-Z come out with a full denial yet? Instead, he's out here beefing with the attorney like that's going to solve anything. Jay-Z is coming out, swinging against some heavy allegations, and he's not holding back. First, he outright denied everything, calling the accusations heinous and straight up labeling them as a blackmail attempt. And let's not even get started on how he dragged the lawyer behind this mess, Tony Busby. Jay called him a deplorable human and straight up a fraud. Shots fired. Now here's where it gets spicy. Jay-Z questioned why these allegations aren't being handled as criminal charges if they're supposedly legit. Instead, they're being brought up as a civil case, which had him side-eyeing Busby's whole strategy. Jay basically said, if this was real, why isn't it going to a higher court? Of course, Busby wasn't about to let that slide. He clapped back, accusing Jay of trying to silence the alleged victims. Busby claimed the victim wasn't even asking for money, she just wanted confidential mediation. Sounds like he's calling out Jay for twisting the narrative. And it doesn't stop there. Jay's lawyer, Alex Spiro, got in on the action and dropped a bombshell of his own. He claimed that Busby's firm pressured another woman, unrelated to this case, to make false allegations against Jay. According to Spiro, she refused. If that's true, yikes for Busby. Oh, and let's not forget the bigger picture. This isn't just about Jay-Z. Busby's been out here filing lawsuits left and right, including against Diddy, with over 150 individuals alleging SA and exploitation. It's a legal storm brewing, and Jay's caught right in the middle of it. This is shaping up to be a major courtroom showdown. Both sides are making bold claims, and it looks like no one's backing down anytime soon. Now, is this going anywhere? If anything, it's helping Diddy's case, not his own. At this point, it's all looking super shady. Jay-Z is now front and center in this updated lawsuit. But there's more tea to be spilled. Some newly surfaced photos show J.Lo and Diddy in the middle of a heated argument that same night everyone's been buzzing about. Remember when folks on Twitter and Instagram were swearing up and down, oh, they weren't partying? Meanwhile, images are sitting right there showing they were partying and cutting up just as the rumors suggested. And these photos? Yeah, you can clearly see it's an argument. So the lawsuit claims there was a third celebrity, a woman, who witnessed everything when the guys allegedly took turns with the victim. Yikes. And let's talk timelines. It does match up with J.Lo's relationship with Diddy, which was from 1999 to 2001. Now, the word on the street, Ben Affleck supposedly left J.Lo back then because he didn't want to deal with this mess. Plus, there are whispers that J.Lo and Diddy are still somehow connected financially. Now, y'all know Diddy's been called a freak of the week for years, so we're just saying, could anyone be around him for 2 years and not accidentally get dragged into some messy business? Like, the man was inventing freak-offs before freak-off money was even a thing. But hey, maybe J.Lo dodged all that. Who knows? Back to the lawsuit. The woman who's accusing these rappers says she was only 13 when this all went down. You might remember the details. She was allegedly lured into the scene, given something to make her feel lightheaded, and then things spiraled from there. And guess what? Diddy reportedly burst in all hyped, saying, "Are you ready to party?" Shudder. The lawsuit says Jay-Z was already in the room at this point, and there was also Celebrity B standing by watching it all. Yeah, this whole thing is straight up wild. Now here's where it gets messy. J.Lo hasn't been officially named, but with all this chatter and Jay-Z's interesting response to the allegations, people are starting to side-eye her hard. Like, imagine if Celebrity B is someone who thought settling would keep their name out of it, only for Jay-Z to bring it all back up again. Honestly, some folks are even throwing Beyoncé's name into the mix, though come on, would they really label her Celebrity B? That's a reach. Still, Jay-Z's whole Tony Busby is scum statement didn't exactly deny anything, so now everyone's just guessing. And let me tell you, if this is a bad year for Diddy, it's not looking great for J.Lo either. They're saying she and Ben have been having problems, and part of it might be because he didn't want to deal with this whole situation. Do you think J.Lo might be the third person involved in this messy lawsuit that completely flipped the game on its head? Let us know what y'all think in the comments, because this story just keeps unraveling.